Hey, you listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0. It's your host, Grady Hooker. And as always, live on Skype, we got Josh.
Yay.
So the first inductee, WWE Hall of Fame class of 2016 got announced.
I'm not really surprised, but it's well deserved.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming. And do you think this spells the end as a in-ring competitor?
No, I don't think it does. There's always the possibility. They could always do one more match for him.
Because he's, in terms of WWE, he doesn't have the exact, I think people are saying, first guy to go into the Hall of Fame winning exactly 0 matches under WWE.
Yeah, the thing is that, really just, it's on, he's not the first person to have 0 matches in WWE. That would be Nick Bockwinkel.
I blame the internet for my incorrect facts.
Also, Vern Gagne would also qualify for that.
Would he qualify as the first guy to have wrestled matches in WWE but won none of them?
Possibly. I don't know. Did Kobe Ware ever win a match?
I'm sure somewhere. At some point.
But
he's going to be the headliner, right?
Yeah, Sting's going to be the headliner, and it's because of what he did in WCW.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
As it's always mentioned in his video packages, the man is essentially an icon. He is why people tuned in to WCW, other than the NWO at that time.
And he had a lot of profound impact on the wrestlers we see today in the ring.
Like, I really only watched Raw as a kid. I watched a little bit of WCW, but I still had like 2 Sting action figures. So
I was one of those channel flippers. I would flip between the 2 shows, but anytime Sting was on, I put the remote down.
He just had
anytime he was on, I put the remote down.
This aura or this electricity that he just brings, and it really worked. So I guess we have to talk about Raw at some point. It opens up. We get a huge thing with Stephanie, Triple H, Vince and everybody. Who's going to win the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, it was the whole. Everybody is going to be on the ring, on the stage for the Authority thing again. That we saw like every week when Daniel Bryan was in the middle of his feud with the Authority.
Yeah, I don't mind it as a one-off. If it's every single week, then it gets a little repetitive. It did.
It's not a bad thing.
It did confirm some. Really...
I did like how Roman brought up the question: what happens if he wins?
Nah, he won't win.
because the Royal Rumble match is supposed to set up the World Heavyweight Champion's opponent at WrestleMania. If the title match is for the title, who does he face at WrestleMania?
Nobody knows. Probably Brock Lesnar. But the segment did confirm some really weird entrance for the Rumble, if what Stephanie and Vince were saying was legit, in that the tag team champs and Owens are both in it. And we were previously trying to figure out the rest of the card for the Royal Rumble, and with them in the match, either they're pulling double duty or there isn't much of a card.
As far as I know, there's only 11 officially announced people in the match.
That's being official. I'm counting Stephanie talking to them and saying these people can win.
But, you would have to think the New Day would be in it. Kevin Owens would be in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Then how are you building an undercard to the Rumble?
You know as well as I do, there have been plenty of times people have done double duty on the Royal Rumble match.
But come on, you haven't even confirmed the rest of the Social Outcasts.
Look at the we all know, there's going to be an Intercontinental title match at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And besides, why wouldn't you want to be the Intercontinental Champion and the WWE Championship Champion at the same time?
Yeah. And I'm going to guess the New Day will defend their titles. They seem to be ramping it
Probably
up.
against the Usos.
Or Chris Jericho and a mystery partner.
Ah, man. Jericho said something that really got the internet going.
What did he say this time? Is it repeatable? Take that as a no.
It's kind of iffy because if you don't, it's really, there's a lot of question about what it meant. Because it means, from what I understand, it means one of two things. It was either a racist statement, an unintentional racist statement, or it was referring to partying on a rock bus with marijuana.
Interesting. Neither of which are really a good thing for him.
Yeah, so, but it was a comment about the back of the bus.
Okay. Could this Chris Jericho return probably won't mount to anything, much like his other returns. Like he laid the seeds with Ambrose and Reigns, and now he's laying some more seeds with the New Day. It's like they're just giving him reasons to want to feud with everybody. Yeah.
Actually, it's just we see that Jericho he just wants to put people over. He wants to try to help the business out.
True.
You can't get much more of a company man than that.
Yeah.
Unlike some people will never put anybody over, no matter what.
Okay, well, we've got a classic entrance theme to play. And it's times like this I wonder why I let you pick the themes. We're playing Johnny B. Bad's theme. I don't know where this came from.
I just got to randomly thinking about him.
And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. So I mentioned them just before the break. The Social Outcasts, they're getting more time.
Yeah, that was a fun little segment. And you got to see Bo and Bray have a stare down.
Yeah.
During the match, but it was interesting, but they didn't let the match go on, didn't bury the Social Outcasts, and at the same time didn't hurt the Wyatt family either.
They sort of did the perfect thing with that match. Everybody came out looking good at the end of it.
Yeah, I kind of expected Slater to pin Eric Rowan.
I saw that prediction. But with Ryback, there's the 50% of people who believe that he is going to team with them, and there's the 50% of people who believe it was just to attack Wyatt. There's a 50-50 split between everybody.
Yeah. I think it was pretty clear that he did it just because he got attacked the week before by the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
But I loved how the social outcasts weren't afraid of the Wyatts and came after them.
Yeah, there's not very much nowadays where two factions will go head to head and there won't be. Because essentially the social outcasts are not the strongest of people. So you'd expect them to be scared against the weird, creepy team. Full of big, strong guys. And your brother. Turning it over to the Divas, Becky Lynch finally has a character.
Or she just had one hell of a PMS moment.
But a large number of people are getting behind her now. As the underdog and as the one that was turned on.
Well, if the rumors are true, they really have no choice. Because, if the rumors about Sasha being injured are true.
True.
That leaves basically just Becky to feud with Charlotte for a while.
With a little bit of Naomi, Tamina, Brie, and Alicia Fox butting in here and there. I guess Paige is still there. And I'm probably missing other people as well. But
yeah, it was interesting. It was definitely you didn't see it coming, seeing Becky just come out of nowhere and attack her.
Yeah, I think that was the best part. Generally, if you can see it coming, it may still do wonders for their character and for their advancement, but when it is a complete surprise and nobody's expecting it, everyone's reactions are just so much more better.
But what's really sad is that you just can't get anything for Charlotte without Ric Flair just stealing the entire spot, trying to steal the entire spotlight.
Yeah, that's definitely coming up a lot now. I don't know if he's intentionally trying to do it or if he's just doing it, but it's getting annoying at points.
Oh no, with Ric Flair, it's intentional.
True. And he
can't stand not to be the center of the attention.
Yeah, which will... Honestly, we said earlier on that bringing him in and sort of making her Charlotte Flair and giving her that character was good for her advancement, but it might be time to phase him out, because now it's starting to do detrimental things. And it's not necessarily is Rick getting heat for Charlotte, it's more is Rick getting heat for himself. And he's turning into a really weird dude, in terms of character-wise. But there were a lot of beatdowns on this episode of Raw. I think there was like 5 overall in terms of surprise attack beatdowns. Including one with Kevin Owens and Ambrose. Which I'm going to guess is setting up the Intercontinental match at Rumble in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's got to be a stipulation when they do that one. But the the one that came out the worst for this was Sheamus, the former World Heavyweight Champion. Got counted out in his match and was left bleeding.
Yeah. Sheamus has fallen from grace since his World Heavyweight title run. Run in air quotes.
It's very clear that he was just a transitional champion just to get the title onto Roman so that they could do the storyline they're doing with Roman here.
It was a transitional champion from Roman to Roman.
That's technicality.
He took it off Roman and gave it back to Roman.
But Roman only got it because of Rollins' injury.
True, yeah.
Honestly, it probably would have played out exactly the same way, but I'd say Roman probably would have gotten screwed out of winning the championship at SummerSlam or at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
If they actually had wrestled. And then the double cross on Rollins would have happened. Sheamus would have become the champion. And then Reigns probably wins the championship at TLC and somehow anyway.
Okay, well, it's time for our current entrance theme. We just talked about him. It's Dean Ambrose's Retaliation, I think is the name of the song. Enjoy. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. We have a new US champ.
I've been calling for it for weeks.
Yeah.
And it finally happened.
I think a lot of people, after his WWE World Heavyweight title tournament sort of performance, everybody was hoping that Kalisto would get a singles run, and he had his match with Alberto, and it was a good match then. And now with Sin Cara injured, it's the perfect time to pull the trigger on his singles run.
By the way, this was in the plans long before the injury happened.
It's more convenient
since
he has his injury.
But WWE, I think WWE may finally have realized what they had with Kalisto. Kalisto, maybe 5'6", 180 pounds soaking wet. But he's got a lot of charisma. He reminds you incredibly a lot of like Rey Mysterio. And he's a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah. The dude pulls off some really amazing spots.
He can definitely lead the Latino demographic into the future. And I think they may have finally figured out that they have that in him.
No, that'd be way too smart of them to figure that out. He's just a tag team competitor. Put him with the other dude in a mask.
Well, they put the United States Championship on him, so they at least trust him enough to be part of the company's flagship.
Yeah. I think they've finally decided now is the time. If they're going to have to do it, they're going to have to do it now. Or else people may see him as the glorified tag team person if they keep him in that and just keep him running that for 6 odd years. But we'll go to the last segment of the night because we're running out of time. We've got about 5 minutes left. One versus all, or was it essentially Reigns versus Owens?
No, I don't think anybody really knew what the match was supposed to be. But yeah, it did end up being Owens versus Reigns for a long time.
And I'm not complaining.
No, because it was a good match. But eventually you knew something was going to go down.
Oh, of course you did. Well, the all came into play.
Yeah. And for a while, Roman stood tall, but then he got mugged by about 15 people. And even Superman couldn't do that.
Yeah, I think the all won, definitely. Well, no, actually, I guess the Brock Lesnar won.
Yeah, technically Brock Lesnar won. Brock Lesnar's pissed because he's being forced to compete in a match he doesn't want to compete in. So what I can see what happening is Brock Lesnar comes out last, eliminates everybody but Roman Reigns, and then steps over the ropes, eliminating himself. Just to piss off Vince McMahon.
I can see it as a storytelling element. I can see it, everything there. But is Lesnar the kind of guy to just walk over the rope? And
He's the kind of guy that just to do something just to piss anybody off.
True.
Especially if it's something he's not wanting to do.
Yeah.
He's definitely the kind of person that will take it out on them. And do whatever it takes to piss that person off.
But who are you trying to draw heat for? Because I feel like somebody's going to come out of that bad. And it's going to be either the guy who won because Brock Lesnar walked over, or the guy who walked over the ropes. And neither one of them really wants it right now.
You could just have Paul Heyman just cut a promo on Vince.
True.
There's your heat. It goes on Vince McMahon because of how.
So are we setting up Brock versus Reigns, or are we setting up Brock versus Triple H?
I say Brock versus Bray Wyatt.
Okay. I know we talked about that, but that has nothing to do with this versus Vince storyline we seem to be setting up here.
The White family can usually also be hired
True.
mercenaries.
That's the word. Yeah, it makes sense. Especially since the Authority sort of dismantled. So I could see it. The thing that everybody seems to be heating up and talking about now after Cena's injury is who's taking on Undertaker. I'm hearing some very interesting names popping around on the internet.
Whatever happens, happens. Personally, I'd like to see Kevin Owens get it.
So would I. I think of the names that have been floating around on the internet, he's my favorite to do it. I think he could probably do the better match. The weirdest name that's been floating around is supposedly Ryback wants it. And I'm not a fan of that option.
Oh, I just thought of it. Funny name.
What?
He's number 8. He's Slater.
It's been great talking to you today, Josh.
Bye-bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, and our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio. And I'll see you next week.